Manga-Waido.
I'm Shunsuke Toyoshima, and I'm 35. I work as a construction management engineer in Tokyo. A construction management engineer is, well, it's a job that's involved in the management of the entire construction. It's a tough job, and it's notorious for the amount of overtime work. I slave away within the company and at construction sites, so it's super hard, physically and psychologically. I want to at least relax at home, but it doesn't go that way because I have a wife, and we've been married for 6 years. Her name is Akina, and she's 35 years old, like me. We don't have children yet. We both want children, but it just hasn't happened yet. We've been seeing the fertility doctor for 3 years now. We go to the clinic together to take Huner tests, try the rhythm method, and all that stuff. But we still can't get pregnant, and it feels like time just goes by. According to certain surveys, the chance of getting pregnant significantly drops when women become 35. Right now, she's exactly that age. So Akina has been tense lately, probably from all the stress of infertility.
I get that your work is hard, but can't you be a little more considerate? Doesn't our future matter to you?
Akina has always been the aggressive type. She's always been in control of me. Come to think of it, I may have been letting her take control too much because I was the indecisive type. Should I leave someone who's always tense? Maybe. Honestly, it doesn't feel good to think that we'll always have this tense and awkward vibe between us. And she's cheated on me before. 2 years ago, she had a relationship with her ex during a certain period of time.
I'm sorry. We happened to bump into each other and we were catching up and things led to another.
Seeing her apologize, I forgave her. I sort of felt bad for her because I knew she wanted to get pregnant, and I couldn't give her what she wanted. But deep inside, I knew myself. The child thing was just an excuse for myself. The biggest reason why I couldn't make the decision to divorce her back then was my weakness. I'm the type that values stability. I was scared of how everything would change if I divorced her. Now, Akina seems to have put all that in the past. She probably doesn't even remember the fact that she hurt me. I really should have taken that big step back then. I strongly regret it now. One day, I was on my way to work as usual.
Good morning, Mr. Toshiyama. Can we talk for a second?
It was Mrs. Miyauchi, who lives next to us in our apartment. We were about the same age, and they didn't have children either.
This is really hard for me to say, and I'm really sorry, but...
Okay. What is it?
Thing is, your wife and my husband are, you know...
I heard the details, and my eyes just about popped out! Apparently her husband and Akina were having an affair! She noticed that her husband was acting weird lately, and found out what was going on. She's cheating again? With the guy next door? I couldn't believe it. I tried to get some proof. I went to a private investigator and asked them to find out what was going on between Akina and the guy next door. Up to 4 hours, it'll be 55,000 yen. After that, it'll cost you an extra 13,000 yen per hour. That's pretty expensive. In the end, the total amount came up to a little bit above 200,000 yen. To put it shortly, the answer is yes. Yes? Meaning? He showed me a series of pictures he'd secretly taken. They were pictures of Akina and Miyauchi together. Oh man, seriously? During the day, they were seeing each other more than I'd expected, and they went to all sorts of different hotels. Akina manages the finances for both of us. A part of my salary may have been used to pay for their hotel bills. Not just once, but twice? Or maybe it's not even twice. She could have been seeing someone other than the guy next door. That bitch! So first of all, I went to Mrs. Miyauchi and got her to cooperate.
You can count on me. Even the patience of a saint has limits. Let's make them pay.
Apparently, it was something that happened multiple times for her, too. We were alike in that way. The pictures I got from the investigator were enough to prove their infidelity. The pictures of Akina and Miyauchi going into a hotel, looking like they are having the time of their life. But I'm not satisfied yet. I'm gonna teach those suckers a lesson! I shared my plan to Mrs. Miyauchi, and she was more than willing to cooperate.
Okay, then how about I go out on his day off?
You mean making time for them to see each other in your room? Mrs. Miyauchi and Akina are both housewives. They're mostly at home. I always go to work. So if Mrs. Miyauchi goes out, it'll only be Akina and Mr. Miyauchi at the apartment. Those cheaters will never miss an opportunity like that. Hotels are costly. I'm sure they want to spend less. So Mrs. Miyauchi and I continue to prepare for our plan. I took a day off on the day of the plan. I've got myself a new room and started packing and moving things that I can. I was going to move out of the apartment on my own and start a new life in a different place. Of course, this is a secret. Fortunately, Akina doesn't seem to have a clue. Finally, I did a little trick on one of the windows in the room. And it was time. I hid outside, and soon I heard the voice of Akina and the guy enjoying their conversation.
Really? I can't believe it! That boss is the worst. He's exactly like my husband.
The way she talks and behaves shows how close they are, and how long this has been going on for.
He's such a dork. So lame. The only thing he said yesterday was, "I'm so tired."
They enjoyed making fun of me for a while. Soon the guy went into the shower, and then Akina. It's about to start. The room became quiet for a second, and then I heard the bed creaking, followed by panting and moaning. My God, this is actually it! I felt my anger instantly swell up to the limit. I seriously don't care about this person anymore! I've hid a camera in the room, so everything's being recorded now. But I was so mad that I couldn't even bother to check! This wasn't a part of the plan, but I decided to make a call to Akina. I tapped on my phone and dialed. I heard a ringing tone from the room. They were right in the middle of things. Their move stopped. Akina clicked her tongue and answered.
Hello? You never call during the day.
Yeah. Were you cleaning or something? You seem to be out of breath.
Yeah, I was sweeping everywhere. It gets dusty really fast.
Oh, really? Anyway, can you guess where I am now? Huh? She seemed to think for a second, and then said I'm making no sense in a sharp tone.
I don't know. Who cares? I'm in the middle of something, so I'm gonna go.
Oh, I see some dark clouds in the western sky. It looks like it's gonna pour.
What?
And then she came by the windows and opened the curtains. The moment she opened the curtains, I started snapping away.
Ah!
She's shook. The guy's looking around like he's got nowhere to hide. Yep, I was hiding on the balcony all this time. Mrs. Miyauchi helped me get from the balcony of her room to the balcony of my room, and I stayed still. And before I left in the morning, I did a little trick on the key so that it wouldn't completely close. I marched into the room without hesitation. The guy barely put on any clothes and hurried to the door, and I shooed him outside. I heard him fiercely turning the knob on his door. What? It's locked! What's happening? He couldn't get back to his room. Mrs. Miyauchi locked the door from the inside. He's gonna be wandering around the apartment for a while, half naked. Akina started asking questions.
Since when did you know about us?
I don't know. Who cares? I'm leaving you anyway.
Leave me? Really? You think a guy like you could survive on your own?
How is it that she still thinks she's above me? I held myself back from yelling and maintained calm. I'm not the indecisive guy I was 3 years ago. I've decided I can't stand someone like you anymore. I slapped her with the divorce papers I prepared. She started to weep.
No! I don't want a divorce! I'm sorry. This won't happen again. Please, forgive me!
I don't believe any word you say. This is it. I never want to see your face again. It took some time to actually get a divorce after that, but it was finally done. I heard that Mrs. Miyauchi got a divorce too. Good thing. I don't know what happened to Akina after that. I've heard rumors that she couldn't find a job and moved to the countryside. Maybe she can take advantage of her sluttiness and find a job. Not that there's any demand for someone in her 30s. As for me, I enjoy living on my own. It feels so much better physically and psychologically. I don't need any woman in my life. For now.